If it hurts, you ain't breaks, no gates, you know it up, put on more steam. Protect our kickers, our quarterback, our lead, our ball game. All obstacles, block, cut, sides, through the games after this win in. Press you again, we're here for the first minute. Carry my team down 6 minutes.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
All I know is go Vols, because that's all I know. Go Vols!
Doesn't have to be perfect, ain't gonna be perfect. We go compete for 60 freaking minutes. All right, enjoy the opportunity, enjoy the environment, and then go play our butts off, play for one another, and have a hell of a lot of fun. Everybody got me?
Yes,
all right.
Hey, it's us against the world, fellas. Yeah. It's us against the world, fellas. Don't nobody believe in us. Yeah. Don't nobody believe in us. We don't need nobody to believe in us. I don't believe in you. I believe in you. I know you a dog. I know you a dog. I know we some dogs, man. Hey, all this preparation we put in, all this been talking about. Hey, it's time to go release pain, man. It's time to go put in real. Let's go. Tennessee on 2, 1, 2, Tennessee. Ball, Tennessee, ready. Ball, Tennessee, ready. Ball, Tennessee, ready.
To be the man, you gotta beat the man, and I'm saying, woo, right here.
But you know what? Let's talk a little Vols. That is not me trying to take any shine away from the phenomenal channel Talking Vols that my guy Boogie Bentley runs. So shout out to them. But let's talk a little Vols here.
Good Friday morning. Welcome to the Talkin VAWLS Network. The boys are back together. My name is Boogie Bentley. Coach Jay's in the house. Foul Ming is here. Coach, it's been a minute. How we feeling on a Friday? Are you guys – well, Coach, you got your legs under you. You've been on air. Let's start with Foul Ming. Where the heck have you been? Are you okay? Can you do this? When's the last time you've been on Talkin VAWLS? Like 3 weeks ago?
I think it's been almost it's over 2 weeks for sure. Trying to knock a little rust off. First thing, you got me early too. First time back, you got me early. First thing, trying to shake off a little bit of rust here, but I feel like I've been through a football drought, man. Like sitting through the end of the Oklahoma game into a bye week, into waiting on this. It's definitely been a bit of a drought. I'm still kind of getting over the Oklahoma fiasco. But I'm sure it was rough to watch on TV. Let me tell you, it was rougher in person. It was kind of just one of those, man, are we ever going to get our legs under us? Are we ever going to get rolling here? It's got to click at some point. It just didn't. So to end on that note, to roll into a couple weeks off, and then this, I'm just excited to get back on the field, man. Just excited to see some Tennessee ball, and hopefully got to look sharp tomorrow.
I think it makes it even worse, right? Because it's a heartbreaking loss to Oklahoma. The playoffs are off the table. Everything that you were striving for, competing for is gone. And then You roll into a bye week, and then, Coach, after that, you roll into a glorified scrimmage. I kind of laughed about this recording Locked On Vols with Kaner yesterday. I'm like, y'all are asking him questions in the media about how this is going to be over with quickly. Like, they said that to Joey. They're like, we know you're going to end this game quick. What are your thoughts? It's like, how do you get these guys up when you know the season's over? And I say that because the playoffs are off the table. You have a bye week, and now you're playing a glorified scrimmage against New Mexico State. How do you get these kids from a coaching perspective fired up to go play football tomorrow afternoon?
If it's me, I'm gathering my senior leadership, and we get one more ride in Neyland after this, right? But you've got an important opportunity in front of you. It is the upperclassmen and senior leadership of this team. I love it myself, sir. Thank you. You have a true opportunity in front of you to prepare the youth of this football team for greatness in the future. But you don't get that opportunity. They don't get that opportunity if you don't go out there and hand them that opportunity. So look, I need everything out of each and every one of my players in this game right out of the gate, because of the man standing next to you, because of the next man up. We need to get them ready. We need you to go out there and execute, take care of business, so we can start to pass this baton over, and just do it for the love of your brothers standing next to you, man. Those underclassmen. You were an underclassman once, right? Chomping at the bit to get in. You know what that feels like. Go out there, throw a knockout punch, put them away, and give your brothers that opportunity to go out there and showcase what they can do.
We're going to talk about finishing this thing off for the seniors. Leaves a different taste in your mouth if you roll off 3 wins and finish this regular season 9-3 versus if you go lay an egg in the swamp. You go lay an egg when Diego Pavia comes to town at the end of the year and finish this thing 7-5. That's the number one question. And we're going to get into it, man. The title of this stream changed 3 times from 8 a.m. till 10 a.m. It kept changing and moving. We were going to talk about 7-5 or 9-3, and then there's just more steam behind these coaching rumors, and we're going to talk about it. We're going to go through it all, but we're also going to come back to that 7-5 or 9-3. But the number one question people ask me when I talk about finishing this thing off strong, if you're in the camp of 7 wins, it's always, well, what are you going to say when we're 7-5? I'm going to talk about it if we go 7-5, right? I'm not going to sit here with 3 games left on the schedule and be like, gosh, man, this is what we got to do because we're finishing 7-5. I don't do that. I don't play that game, bro. I don't write off games that we've not played yet. We're going to come back to that conversation in just a little bit. Hypel to LSU, all kinds of rumors. Are they true? Are they not? We're going to break it down. We're going to go through it all. But first, I need you guys to do the YouTube stuff for me. Smash the thumbs up. Share out the link. I think Facebook lifted the ban. I think they've let me back. They realized, okay, he's not AI. He's not a bot. He's just a jerk. We can let him back for now. So I can now promote the channel on Facebook. I think you guys may have seen it there. But either way, man, still smash the thumbs up. Share out the link. Let somebody know we were live. We would appreciate that. Also, we got some door fees. We appreciate door fees. You got $1? We need that $1. We appreciate the support. Kevin Smith has $10. He says, door fee, only thing I want out of tomorrow is for this team to prove that it can execute in all 3 phases of the game. LFGBO. Yeah, man, this came up Wednesday night. We've not seen this team execute for 60 minutes the entire season. That's what's so maddening about it, is if you go out, you execute, you do your job. I can argue and sit here and say we could be undefeated right now. Samuel Jackson, not to be confused with Samuel Jackson. Is it Samuel Jackson? For 5, door fee. Go big damn O. Shout out, Mr. Jackson. We appreciate you guys. You know the deal by now. If we get 35 memberships on this stream, we're going to give away some free Talkin VAWLS merchandise. Chuck Maines. Shout out Chuck, man. Chuck won the free merchandise Wednesday night, getting that shirt mailed out to him. You guys can win a free shirt, but we got to take care of business. There's a link in the description. You can join the channel, or you can gift those Talkin VAWLS memberships. Also, the last plug, we got to talk about Grade A Grounds. Go grab some coffee at gradeagrounds.com. You guys know the story. East Tennessee guy, Tennessee alum, bleeds orange, played in a golf tournament. The relationship made sense, but then he sent me some of that blueberry coffee, and I said, oh, we got to promote this. We got to get this out there. You guys bought so much coffee. You guys bought so much of this blueberry coffee that I couldn't get any. I just now got restocked, refilled. Shout out to Billy over at Grade A Grounds. But go to gradeagrounds.com. You can use that promo code VAWLS, VAWLS, at checkout. You're going to save 20%. I can't sell you the blueberry enough. It is delicious. If you bought some of this coffee, put it in the chat. Most of you guys in the chat have talked about how dang good it is, and you keep buying it, and that's why I can't get it. GradeAgrounds.com, promo code VAWLS at checkout. Also, man, they do fundraisers for softball teams, little league teams, schools. If you want to get involved in that, you can go to their website. There's details. They give a lot back to the community, so go check them out. All right, let's talk about the rumors. I guess let's start here. Fal, I'm curious what you think, because me and Coach had this conversation, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, talking about all the openings, right? All the job openings. LSU is open. Florida is open. Arkansas is open. What job did I miss? I missed a job there somewhere. LSU, did I say
LSU, Florida, Arkansas.
Oh, that's the four. Those four jobs in the SEC alone. Like, how do you rank those jobs? Which job do you think is the most appealing all the way down to the bottom, which we know is Arkansas? Auburn's the job I missed. Right.
I would have put LSU right out the gate at the top. I just think it's just a recruiting hotbed, that kind of thing. You got plenty of backing. Boosters seem to be on top of it. Like, that just seems to be the most appealing job out the gate. And then I would have ranked Florida. Because it comes down to recruiting, right? Like, that's, to me, it's like, do you have the money to pay for the recruiting, and is the recruiting available? Like, that's the way I look at it. But I would almost – I'm starting to hesitate because of all the stuff behind the scenes at LSU. It's you got this governor thing going on, which if you watch some of those interviews, wow, I'll just leave it at that, wow. But you got that going on. It's like, who's the AD? Was it the AD's fault? Now you got a coach out the door. This is the only school who's the coach is out the door. We agreed to put him out the door. We know we got to pay this big chunk of money. Oh, wait, now we're going to try to retract and not pay that chunk of money. So if I'm a coach coming in and I'm really sought after, if I'm at that LSU Florida level, and everybody's ringing my phone off the hook, do I really want to go deal with that? All of a sudden, maybe Florida's the spot. And now, to me, Florida and Auburn, you could almost interchange. I think Florida has a better maybe recruiting hotbed, but Auburn's right there in the thick of everything. If you think about it, you can pull from Bama, you can pull from Georgia, you can pull from Florida, you can pull out of Mississippi, Louisiana. Like, you're kind of, I mean, that's still starting to get a stretch, but like, you can kind of pull anywhere there. So, and you know how just feverish that fan base can be. So that I mean, we're clear Arkansas is at the bottom, but I mean, that's just because of it's just a location and money situation there, right? But I think I go, if it's me today and I can pick anywhere I want to go, I think I'd still pick LSU.
Ooh, even with all the drama. Coach, do you change your list?
Winning fixes everything, right?
Do you? Yeah, that's true. That's true. Does your list change at all, Coach, because of the drama? Have you kept up with the drama at LSU with the governor and the buyout and the lawsuit and all that nonsense?
I mean, it gives me pause, right? Like, especially if we're talking about someone like Josh Hypel. I mean, him and Danny White, are thick as thieves. And why would you leave that situation for what seems to be, I don't know if I want to call it a dumpster fire, although it's kind of a dumpster fire of a situation. You would have to think that everything up top would have to shake itself out for someone like Hypel to really consider LSU. I mean, I still think it's a great job, but they've got some sorting out to do, man. Like, I still think they're going to be able to pull a really good coach, but you might think twice before, stepping in there. Makes you wonder, do they opt for someone like Franklin who could at least bring stability? It has coached in the SEC before, and maybe even be a bridge. But no, my rankings haven't changed. Number one job, still UCLA, followed by LSU, followed by.
Well, your roster's going to be gone at UCLA, but I know where you're going, Coach.
I'm just
I appreciate the
playing with you,
hustle.
guy.
Now I'm gonna get 6 DMs. I'm gonna get tagged on
I watched
Twitter.
Locked On Vols this morning, and they were all talking Nico the whole show, so it's fresh in my mind. Blame Eric Kane and Boogie Bentley for their.
You know what? I
morning
wanted to come back and make a statement at the end saying that in no way, shape, or form would I want Nico over Joey this past year based on production. But I never got the, like Cater didn't even let me speak. He just wrapped the show and sent me out the door. It was talking Bruins.
All I
over
heard
there.
was they were the same. That's all I heard, Boogie. That's all I heard.
Talking Bruins over on Locked On Vols this morning.
And we talked.
Go ahead.
We talked about ranking the jobs though, but we kind of skipped over to would Hypel take one of those jobs, and that's a totally different question to me, because if I'm trying to get to that level, then that's one thing. I might take LSU, Florida, that kind of thing. But if I'm Hypel and I already stacked some classes together and I've already got a pretty solid situation, I don't know that I would leave for that. Now, to me, that's a little bit of orange shaded glasses because of being a fan, but realistically, I mean, if you're think of some of these other guys, like would you leave Bama to go to LSU? No, I don't think so. Would you leave Georgia to go to LSU? I don't think so. Would you leave Tennessee where it is now, not where it was, where it is now, to go to LSU? I don't think so. If it's me, I don't think so.
I think it's different if you're Josh Hypel and you're sitting at Central Florida and you got an offer from LSU and an offer from Tennessee, and you're weighing it out, deciding which one you want to go to, versus you've been in the SEC. This is year 5. You've been recruiting, but even as you've recruited, you've had the NCAA investigation hanging over your head, and now you're finally free and clear of that, and you can actually go out and recruit. And not only recruit, I keep coming back to what Brian Staley said because it made so much sense and it was so accurate. You're also trying to change the perception of Tennessee football, and you're trying to do that by winning 10 games, by winning 9 games year in and year out. And people want to freak out and go nuts and talk about missing the playoffs and how we suck. Most people see this football team as a 5-win football team, as a 6-win football team. Josh Hypel is changing that and getting it back to where, all right, we're winning 9, 10, 11 games every year. We're right there knocking at the door of the playoffs every year. That perception for 5, 6, 7 years, you can change that. And now all of a sudden it makes it a little bit easier to recruit at Tennessee, and Josh Hypel is building a foundation. Do you take that job? Well, let's go through the article. Excuse me. Let me hit the super chat real quick after I choked to death. All right, we're good. Donovan Milliken for 5. Appreciate you, brother. Says Hypel needs to quit calling plays, and we need to hit the portal hard on safety help. I expect this team to finish 10-3. If they finish 10-3, isn't it weird? Isn't it a waste of a year? Like you as a fan, if you've been griping and complaining and been questioning getting rid of Hypel and firing Tim Banks, is it crazy to think this team can still win 10 games? It certainly doesn't feel like this is a team that can go win 10 games the way the noise has been in this fan base the entire season.
Okay, that's almost 2 different questions. If you're saying like based on how the fans sound,
yes, right, that's what I'm talking about.
Right? Yeah, you think we're like a at best 7-5, right?
Yeah,
but you got to look at this thing as a whole and say we're a 50-50 team every time we walk on the field with damn near everybody. That's just kind of where we're at. I mean, any team in the country out there, I give us 50-50 because we could absolutely just pee down our leg and look terrible, or we could go out there guns blazing and put up 50 points on anybody. Like, I mean, that's just kind of where we're at. I mean, I wouldn't have said that 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, but after I watched the Oklahoma game, I was like, we're capable of anything because we looked awful at times. And defense looked maybe the best it's looked all year, but offensively, like the things we're good at, we looked awful. But you look back at moments in the Bama game, moments in the Georgia game, it's like we can beat anybody. So I don't think either one's out of the realm of possibility. I'm really at a pick 'em 50-50 kind of a thing. I sound a little pessimistic this morning, but like that's just where I really feel like it's one way or the other. It just depends on if this team shows up, and I don't know what that difference is. Is it execution? Is it getting up for the game? Did you kind of rest on your laurels a little bit by being at home and think I can kind of just walk through this because Neyland's going to take care of me, even though that's crazy to think about in football terms, but that's just kind of where I'm at. And but looking at it from a fan's perspective, absolutely, we look like 7-5 or worse.
I think that's what makes it so maddening. And we talked about this Wednesday night because look, I can look at the Oklahoma game alone and say if David Sanders doesn't blow an assignment and Joey Aguilar get blindsided, we were cooking right there. You got an opportunity to go up two touchdowns at that point, at least 2 scores. And then Joey Aguilar puts the ball in harm's way. That's 3 plays, the 2 interceptions and the fumble scoop score. You take those out, it's a different game. But guess what? You can't do that, right? And you can point to it and say, well, we're capable of anything. We can go out there and lay an egg and throw the ball in harm's way or get blown up for a scoop and score and get beat. I can also spin it and say, Coach, if we go out there and do our job and David Sanders is on the right page and Joey Aguilar doesn't throw the ball in harm's way, if Joey Aguilar sees the safety sitting over the top, that's a win. So is it we suck because we can't take care of the fine details, or is it we're a player or 2 away from being undefeated?
Right. The truth always lies a little in the middle of these things, right? 2 things can be true. We had opportunities to win this game. Sorry, I was talking about the Oklahoma game in that standard.
No, we're 20 minutes in and haven't even scratched the surface of this coaching search.
And you could go to any game, like you said, Boogie, but and I know you've said it, right? You can do that with any game at the end of the day almost, but execution has been a problem, I would say, in finite moments, and it seems really finite this year, those huge moments. And we've been able to swing momentum back in moments, but it feels like in fighting almost like we've had the ability to hurt big time opponents, but we haven't had the ability to go in there and knock them out, right? To go ahead and land those knockout punches. Like Oklahoma, we had them hurt, had them against the ropes, about to score, right? We don't knock them out. Right? They throw a huge punch and knock us on our tail, lose momentum, and really struggle to get it back. Although there were moments in that game where we threw some punches back, but we just haven't been good finishers, and good finishers are usually good because of attention to detail, right? And this team has just not had a good attention to detail in finite moments. It doesn't mean that I think they suck or that they're a horrible team. It's just I think that the truly elite teams, the teams that win national championships, those are those little mistakes that they don't make. Those are those finite moments that take you from being a good 10-win team to a really good team that makes it to the ship or maybe loses a ship in a tight game because someone makes a play or something like that, right? So those things need solved, man. Like, I know everyone feels like we haven't had good consistency under Josh Hypel. I think that's even a double-edged sword. Like you talked about his win percentage this morning on Talkin VAWLS. It's some pretty hefty company. That seems pretty damn consistent to me. But we haven't gone over that little hump at the same time. We've consistently come up short of executing the finite details at a level that is necessary. Sorry, forgive me, it's early out here in the West Coast still. That is necessary for us to take that next step that we're looking for as Vol fans, that we're hungry for as Vol fans. Doesn't mean we can't be grateful for how far we've come or where we're at or appreciate everything or think this team's good, but we can also want more. It's okay to be hungry and thirsty and want us to execute at that higher level.
Yeah, I mean, that's the whole thing is Josh Hypel is trying to take a step that no coach we've had since Philip Fulmer has taken. And we can understand that and be appreciative for what Hypel's done. But to act like Hypel is some terrible coach that can't get over the hump, I think that's just insanity. Like, how many times have you heard me say he is trying to take the most difficult step, going from a really good coach, a really good program, to an elite coach and an elite program. And I think he needs to make some changes. Tim Bradley's in the chat right now. He said it. I think it's one of the big hot talking points that we keep bringing up. Can he hand off play calling so he can be the CEO, so he can be the head coach, so he can make those in-game decisions without, you see it so many times where he panics and it's like, and he's scrambling because it's, I got to call a play, but I'm trying to work the official. Oh, the clock, 25 seconds just ran off the clock in the 2-minute drill. Crap, we should probably call a timeout. Like, he's so scatterbrained because he is trying to do too much. You got to have trust there. Does he not trust Joey Halsley like he did Alex Golish? If you don't, then go hire somebody that you do trust. Promote Seth Luttrell. Do you trust him? I don't care what you do. You got to have trust, and I think that is a key step for Josh Hypel taking the next step. I do want to get into this LSU stuff. Val, did you have one last thing you wanted to tie a big fat bow on it with?
That was it. I was going to make that exact point because I don't have a problem with Coach Hypel's play calling. I think he's elite most of the time. Like, I don't have a bit of problem with that. I do think that he needs to find somebody he trusts to make these play calls, and I don't know who it's going to be. I don't know if him and Joey can come to that or how that's going to work, just over time. But he needs to find somebody he trusts, and I know that's hard. I mean, especially somebody who's that good at it, that much of an offensive mind to say, okay, I trust you to drive the car, and I'm going to go hands free here. That's a big step. I don't know if he can trust anybody to do that just from his own personality, but you have to find somebody because these game management situations have become such an issue. And I wanted to talk about it, but I know we're crunched for time here. But in the Oklahoma game, I'm sure you guys seen on TV when the guy returned the fumble for a touchdown. He clearly stepped out. They zoomed in on it on the big screen. He had plenty of time. I mean, I said it probably 15 times along with the rest of the crowd, but I said it at least 15 times. He had enough time to call a timeout, let them look at it. Defense is playing well. Maybe hold them to a field goal there. There's just little moments like that. And I know clock management is going to come into it. That's been an issue, all these things, but it's just little key things in the game where that's a big deal. I mean, you want to trade a timeout for a touchdown or potential touchdown? I do. I mean, I'm willing to take a shot, because that's you got the momentum swing, not to mention the points. Your offense is struggling to put up points. And I'm talking the whole crowd was irate because, everybody's screaming, timeout, timeout, timeout. What are you doing? And I hate to be that way against a coach that I really respect and I like a lot, but it's just moments like that. I mean, it's on the big screen. Everybody in the stadium sees it, not just the staff, not just players, not just referees. I mean, everybody sees it, and you still don't capitalize on it. It wasn't like, he had 4 seconds to say timeout or not, or argue or the ref or whatever. No, I mean, he had probably 15 seconds to say one word, hey, call a timeout, coach. I mean, they're lining up for an extra point here. Call a timeout. Let's talk about it. If you lose it, you lose it. It's the first half. If we lose a timeout, we lose a timeout. But
what makes me mad?
Is there not a guy in the booth saying, hey, we need to look at this thing? Like, is that not a thing? I mean, I know if I'm out on the West Coast, coaches screaming in my ear, saying, hey, you need a timeout here. We need a timeout here. Take the timeout.
It should be mentioned, too, just real quick. I know we're trying to tie a bow, but
I should have removed this off the screen.
There are a lot of programs.
There's a lot to go over here.
There are a lot of programs and I thought this was a big part of Billy Napier's downfall, although Billy Napier is not a quarter of the play caller that Josh Hypel is. That's another issue. His game management was bad because he was calling plays too. And you have to, if you are hell bent on that, you have to be willing to have an analyst in your system that's their job, that you trust to manage the clock, to manage timeouts, to manage challenges, that's up in the booth or on the field next to you or linked into your ear, that when he tells you that, you just trust him and you go with what he's saying. Because you've talked about every scenario. He knows what you want to do in these times, but he can manage that for you so that you're not having to juggle, chew gum, and, call plays at the same time, if you will. There's plenty of programs out there. I've been part of plenty of programs who has a game management guy in these kinds of situations. So one thing, in my opinion, does have to give.
That's a good way to get the other side of it, right? The other side of the responsibilities. Go ahead, bud.
I'm just going to hit these super chats, and we're going to roll into the LSU stuff. If I was a better host, I would have rolled all that into the 9-3 or 7-5, but I'm not a good host, so we're going to roll with it. Ron the Don's been a member for 36 months. Shout out Ron the Don. Truth be told, we are exactly 4 elite players short of being that team. Every start, we are even elite players. In the end of games, make plays to win. I think I said something along those lines with Kane or two. Like, I get it. It is what it is. But at the end of the day, if you look where this team's at, and I told you back before we played a single game, hey, our quarterback's going to leave after spring camp. We're going to be down not only our 2 starting corners, but also our star. Like, you might as well say Boo Carter's hurt. You might as well say he was out for the year with an injury. Like, he has not been himself. So you're down your 2 starting corners and your starting star. Oh, and by the way, quarterback bounced after spring camp. I think most people would be happy sitting here if we finish this thing off with a 10.
A lot of defensive line at the beginning of the year, too.
Yeah. I think, though, even once they came, like, I use that excuse, even when they came back, we're really missing the seniors that were on this team a year ago. Tim Rice has been a member for 32 months. Shout out, Tim. If you're not a member, hit the join button. It's only $1. Got $1, we'll take that $1. If we get 35 memberships throughout the course of the stream, we'll give away some free Talkin VAWLS merchandise. Randall Perry drops a 20 spot. That's Orange Boy. Let's play the clip.
Rocky Top, you'll always be.
Finally, a segue into this LSU coaching rumor mill. Randall says, sorry, I'm late. Boogie, if Hypel leaves, it will be some of the Tennessee fan base that drives it. I fear we will repeat the last 15 years. Like that's such a big part of this. And not only if Josh Hypel leaves, if he left for a job, also if you want to fire Josh Hypel, like who's the replacement? Who are you going to hire? Where are you going to go moving forward is such a huge thing for me. Let's get into it. Let's talk about this LSU coaching rumors. This is A to Z Sports. Zach Reagan. Shout out Zach. I love Zach. Man, Zach gets, people yell at me for clickbait. I see poor Zach get annihilated all the time. Zach's a good dude. Show Zach some love here. It says here there's an understanding that for the right job, Josh Hypel would be willing to leave. Tennessee fans may have reason to worry. Let's go down here and take a look at the quote. SEC Unfiltered's Chris Phillips dropped a massive coaching carousel nugget on Thursday afternoon while discussing the LSU Tigers job opening on 104.5 The Zone's Cover 2. Phillips, the founder of SEC Unfiltered, said on Thursday that it is known in the industry that Hypel would be willing to leave Knoxville. Here's the quote. Really interesting name. Again, we're talking about the LSU coaching search. Is Josh Hypel at Tennessee? That was a name that I've heard. And seriously, LSU, think they can get him. And again, don't shoot the messenger here, but I've heard that potentially Josh Hypel would at least entertain the conversation. He's thought about leaving Knoxville. So I'm not saying it's going to happen. What I've been told is there's an understanding in the industry that for the right job, Josh Hypel would be willing to leave. So again, take it for what it's worth. I think the timing could line up, especially if LSU was calling and seriously offering him that gig. I think it's at least something you got to think about if you're Hypel. So it was interesting to hear that name. Not saying that he leaves, but when you think about expectations, the Tennessee fans are trying to match those expectations. Listen, they don't want to go 8-4 anymore, but it's hard to get to the playoffs every single year, like I think most ball fans want. So it's a little bit easier down in Baton Rouge. And again, that's not a dig on Tennessee at all. That is just a fact. So, Coach, unpack that. And again, I think the big thing for me, am I worried that Josh Hypel's leaving for LSU? No. Am I worried that there is a rumor circulating that Josh Hypel would leave for the right job? And I get it. Well, of course, everybody would leave for the right job, right? I can sit here and say for the fans, by the fans, love talking balls. Let me tell you something. If On3 picked up the phone and said, Boogie, we're stupid. We're going to give you $1 million a year. Do you want it? Adios, right? Like, that's not happening. Yeah. That's never happening. Now, Josh Hypel, if the right job, does that mean dream job? Does that mean things get patched up at Oklahoma and he gets a chance to go coach his alma mater? Is that the job that he would take? But just unpack that quote. What are your thoughts?
I mean, so for me, like, how is it well known? Like, I felt like I wanted it more unpacked than just, hey, it's known. Everyone knows it. Like, I mean, other than what you just said, yeah, anyone would leave for like a perfect scenario. That's almost true of anything, right? So for me, it's like, it just feels still like rumor unless it's unpacked a little more. It's like, okay, how is it well known? Why is it well known? how has this been said? I'm sorry. I want the glossary. I want the subject text. I want the index to all this information. Otherwise, it just feels like an article to me. Because it's New Mexico and it's bye week and LSU's a story, and yeah, he's probably on their list and it's an attractive job. Would he take it? Maybe. I don't know, but I guess I'd want to know more as to why that's understood so much and why that Zach feels this way. I'm not doubting it or calling him a liar. Don't hear what I'm not saying. I just feel like I'd want to know more information for me to feel like it has true validity other than LSU's a super attractive job. Hypel's been doing a good job and has a stable program. So there's people with interest. There's Florida people who like Hypel who have him underneath Kiffin on their list. So look, he's going to be an attractive name as long as he continues to win. And I just think I want a little more providence behind the comments before I'm going to give it true concern.
For context, let me say this before you chime in, Fowl. This isn't Zach's quote. This is a guy that's on the radio talking about the LSU head coaching search that made these comments. All Zach did was take that quote and write it. I just want to make that clear, just so people aren't going after Zach. All Zach's doing is like it would be like Tennessee having a head coaching search and us being on here talking about it and having some type of inside scoop. Who knows if this guy has an inside scoop or if he's just talking out of air, but we say that and then somebody writes an article out of it.
Right. Yeah. Which is why I said don't come for Zach. Right. Like, I don't think Zach's a great dude. I don't think he's up here making crap up or something like that. That's not what I meant. I just meant that it feels like hearsay and it is hearsay. Right. So in the court of Coach Jay, we're throwing it out for now.
I mean, you come off of a bye week, then you go into a game like we got this week. We're fishing for articles, right? Anybody in the media is fishing for things to talk about. So there's no hate there. But to me, like, okay, there's several attractive jobs out there right now, right? I mean, this is an odd year where a lot of what you would consider upper tier teams are all looking for coaches at the same time. So there's going to be a lot of interest. I mean, there's how many coaching hiring boards out there that have some elite names on them. But this all, to me, this comes down, assuming all that, we're just going to take it as fact just for the argument's sake here. To me, this all comes down to agents trying to make money for their coaches. Like, anytime we can rustle up some interest and say, oh, this school's talking to my guy, this school's talking to my guy, I just see dollar and cents. Is it a thing where it's an attractive enough school where LSU could pull a coach from just about any school? Like, would they take it? Maybe, maybe not. But would they at least hear them out? Probably. I mean, is there anybody who wouldn't listen and at least have a conversation? Who knows what? I mean, if they back up the money truck, most people would take it. I'm not stressing hard until. If Venables was fired today, then I'm stressing. Then I'm like, well, maybe the Oklahoma ties, that kind of thing. But until it's the Oklahoma job, I'm not exactly stressing. I'm more curious. Like, I'll be looking at people wanting to get into the SEC versus people trying to move around the SEC. Because most guys, most SEC coaches that would consider this job, I would say, are probably in better situations currently. I'm not saying potentially, because LSU has potential. We've seen multiple coaches win national championships there, so that's a draw, right? Automatic, that's a draw. But who's in a worse situation that would want to move? I just don't. I'm not stressing that hard just yet. Now, money talks. If they go out and swing for Kiffin and offer him all this money in the world and it doesn't go through, the longer it drags out, the more stressful I would get. But like today, I'm not stressing. If this drags for a month or two, now I'm starting to stress, because then it's like, okay, they're going to overpay. They're going to, they're stretching it. So then that's when I would start to worry, because I think they might try to overcompensate somebody, and that could turn some heads for any coach. But just real quick for the LSU job, You think any USC fans are starting to sweat a little bit, Coach?
No, I think USC fans really dislike Lincoln Riley and would be happy to see him go, actually, believe it or not. Do you guys think that behind closed doors, Hypel's agent has already turned down a job offer too?
And let the school know, or just let him, or just quietly?
Yeah, just quietly. Like
I don't know.
there's
It depends on the
quiet
play.
phone calls. There's quiet
the
phone
play?
calls that happen every year. Like,
I mean,
hey, would he be interested?
Arkansas.
Are you looking for a raise?
Yeah.
Are you looking for a raise? Because if you're looking for a
Who
raise,
is
no,
it?
I'm going to let all this go around, right? I'm going to let all this smoke boil, and I'm going to say, hey, let my name float around there. Because, look, here's the thing, man. This has been out here since Brian Kelly was fired, right? The first hot boards roll out. Josh Hypel is on those hot boards. I made a video talking about it, saying, hey, our coach is on a hot board for the LSU job. It is what it is. Would he take it? No, he would not. Now we fast forward a couple of weeks. I get it. It's right before the New Mexico State game. There's nothing to talk about. So this is what people in the media are talking about. But Josh Heupel's name is coming up in a different place, right? Where there's smoke, there's fire. Over here's a LSU hot board on the on-3 side. Now you got this guy on the radio, and now we got another little bit of smoke boiling over here. I think Fowl nailed it. The longer this thing plays out, the more we have to be worried about. I want to talk about that. Let me hit this in the chat real quick, though. Randy Wilson gifted a Talkin VAWLS membership. Shout out, Randy. We appreciate you. Also, Chris Crawley joined the channel. If you're not a member, you can hit the join button down below. That puts us now 33 memberships away from giving away some free merch. Get in where you fit in. If you're not a member, join the channel. Or if you are a member, gift some memberships. Boudreaux wants a free membership. He has been trying to get one for weeks, and nobody will gift him one. Give some Talkin VAWLS memberships. We'll see if Boudreaux can get it. I just think it's interesting because, again, the longer this thing plays out, maybe they are willing to overpay. And if the key to me about this rumor is that Josh Hypel is willing to leave. Josh Hypel, obviously everybody's willing to listen. You got to offer, I'll listen. Well, I may not be interested. Everybody's willing to listen. But if he's willing to leave, is there a price? Is that all it comes down to? For the right price, would he go to LSU? I think it starts with Lane Kiffin. I think this whole thing starts with Lane Kiffin. I think that's who LSU wants, and they're going to try to force him to say no. And what happens here, I thought this was good stuff from Josh Pate, and he was kind of talking about Lane Kiffin. He was talking about the LSU job. This kind of bleeds into what we were talking about earlier. Let's take a listen to what Josh Pate had to say. And by the way, look at Pete. This is Pete Nakos. This is his hot board. No Josh Hypel. Josh Hypel nowhere to be seen on this. Let's take a listen.
In this day and age, in the modern day and age, it's not nearly as common sense a move to take the LSU job for guys that are in different positions than it used to be. It used to be you'd crawl over broken glass to go from having a job at Ole Miss to having a job at LSU. Or
I think that right there, it ain't. Maybe even we were wrong, Coach, and maybe I'm letting Josh Pate talk me off of where I was at. I felt like the LSU job was a pretty dang. We ranked where Tennessee fit into that. We put the LSU job ahead of Tennessee when you're talking about recruiting and overall opportunities to win a national championship. It's probably easier at LSU than it is at Tennessee. He talks about that. You would crawl over broken glass to coach at LSU, but now he's saying Ole Miss. He's talking Lane Kiffin. It's really not the case. If you can sell me on Ole Miss, Coach, you can dang sure sell me on Tennessee. Like I'm no longer going to crawl from Knoxville to Baton Rouge to coach at LSU. Can Josh Pate sway you here?
Yeah, I mean, I still think it's a great gig. Number one, right? Let's start there. But I do also think that it's a new era, right, with NIL and the parity that we've seen in college football. And as a coach, as a human being, as a person, you have to ask yourself what you truly value, right? Because let's be real, any one of these Southeastern Conference jobs, you're going to be making a little bit of scratch, right? You're not going to be hurting in your pocketbook. And what's the difference between 13 million and 9 million? I mean, I know the obvious answer is 4 million, right? But I mean, at what point, is, where you live, like you can only have so big of a roof over your head. You can only buy so much electricity, so much cars. And obviously, I think a lot of these coaches, that's not what makes them happy anyway. What makes them happy is being out on the grass, the fight, the grind, the work, the the competition, the struggle. I think that's what's important to them, and where their family is comfortable. You know, how they can balance that atrocious schedule with their life is part of the equation. Job security is part of this equation. I know the fan brought up a minute ago being worried that the fans could sway that. Well, guess what? Florida fans and LSU fans are insane too. If you don't think they're equally, maybe not equally because we're special, but they'll kick you out in a hot minute, right? Like Florida's not going to put up with you if you're not winning. You know, getting to the playoff every year. Either is LSU. So, you know, where do you have the right balance of life, stability, goals, support, the people that you work with, your AD, all these little things are going to go into it. And to try to pretend like we know what the best is based on what the best was in 1999 or even 2010 is probably way off base, to be honest, as much as it's so heavily ingrained in our minds.
I'm glad you came back to that, because that was a key thing for me in that quote, talking about Tennessee and their expectations, and they demand to be in the – you don't think LSU demands to be in the playoff every year? Like, they just ran Brian Kelly off in the middle of year 4 of a 10-year, $100 million contract. You don't think they want to be in the playoff every year? Let me hear more from Josh Payton, then Val, you can jump in here.
Or anywhere else. Now it's got to be an unequivocal upgrade. And if you don't have that alignment, there's all this infighting, perceptionally or in reality. If the political scene looks like it's a mess and you're the least bit worried about how it's going to play out down there, unlike years past, where you may bite the bullet on all that because of the resources LSU offers you in return, you probably got pretty good resources right now. If you're good enough for them to be offering you the job, you're probably at a place that you got pretty good resources at right now. So it's got to be an unequivocal upgrade.
I know. He's talking about Lane Kiffin. He's talking about Ole Miss. But the reason I wanted to play this video, Foul, is because it plays perfectly in to Josh Hypel in Tennessee and what he has around him, and him talking about the political environment and all that type of stuff. An article from Fox Sports kind of lays it out, and this is what it says. It says LSU coach Brian Kelly was fired in fourth season of a 10-year, $100 million deal the day after a loss to Texas A&M. The day of Kelly's firing, Landry said, hosting a meeting in the governor's mansion. Listen to this, man. The governor's mansion. Politics are involved in this LSU thing. Meeting in the governor's mansion on October the 26th to discuss the legalities of the contract. Landry has said he is concerned that his state will be on the hook to pay for Kelly's buyout, which is about $54 million. So the chairman of LSU's Board of Supervisors Athletic Committee told the AP that the meeting at the governor's mansion occurred after Kelly had already been fired by athletic director Scott Woodward. Here's where it gets even better. While the governor's concerns are valid, negotiations with Kelly are ongoing, and private donors and nonprofits have typically picked up the bill for sports-related buyouts. Days after Kelly's firing, Landry told reporters at a Wednesday press conference that LSU's athletic director would not be selecting the next football coach. Here's a quote. Excuse my language. Hell, I'd let Donald Trump select it before I would let him do it. He also criticized Woodward's prior tenure at Texas A&M. The next day, founding LSU fires their athletic director. So I know we're talking about Lane Kiffin. I know we're talking about Ole Miss. The LSU job all of a sudden doesn't look as sexy as it did a couple of weeks ago when me and Coach Jay were having the same conversation.
Yes, all that puts dents in the car, right? So, I mean, the governor's worried about having to fit the bill. That's the end of the day. Like, it's not so much a sports-related question. It's just it's a state school, so he don't want to pay for it, and he don't want a guy in there that got to decide if he had to pay for it without him deciding if he had to pay for it. Like, that's all that was at the end of the day. But I think, two things. If you're a coach that's high enough on this hot board to be a realistic choice, you're probably in a good situation where you're at. That's what I said a few minutes ago. It's what Josh Pate just said. Like, you're probably there's going to be spots where are the resources slightly swayed one way or another, probably, depending on where you're coming from. But it's close enough now. Like you were talking about, Coach. It's not 1999. Well, it's not even 2015. You know, it's the landscape has changed in the past couple of years when NIL came in. So all the boats rose, and now we're kind of getting closer. So what's going to sway you? So then I get back into thinking, okay, all this drama around LSU, all these things, because all of a sudden Florida had some drama going on too, but and Auburn's had some drama going on too, but all of a sudden that doesn't really, that gets put in the shadows because LSU's got all this drama, and that's the biggest choice. So I think because that's the biggest choice is why it's getting all the spotlight. But there's a reason it's getting all the spotlight. There's a reason it's got, this is the most attractive job on the market. So if you're a coach going into it, are you thinking more about that? Are you thinking, like, do you have the confidence to say, I don't care, do whatever, argue amongst yourselves, just put me in the seat, I'll win some ball games. And if I win some ball games, everything else will take care of itself. Now, I'm not saying that's how to go. I'm just saying if I'm a coach on that level, I better have that kind of confidence coming in to me. So, like, I'm thinking if I'm a coach and I'm on that level, I'm elite, I'm on that level, I'm not so much worried about that little bit and the noise in the background. Because at the end of the day, LSU cares about sports. They care about the football team. They're going to give me athletes. They're going to give me facilities that I need. I think we worry about it on the outside looking in and make a bigger deal out of it in the media. Not that we're media, but the talking heads. More so than a coach who's going to say, just give me the keys to the car. I'll win some games. You know what I mean?
I think a big part of it too, though, is the athletic director. You want to know who your dang boss is, right? You want to know who you're going to be working for.
Maybe I get to choose. Do I get to choose that in the contract? If I'm
I don't
Kiffin,
think they're going to bring ahead. You think they would do that? Bring in Lane Kiffin and be like, hey,
if I'm your number one choice, make it,
my favorite concern on the general's quarters is, they're looking for an athletic director and a head coach. We want to run Danny White out of town and Josh Hypel out of town.
No, that's the argument you can make.
Deal. Go ahead and take them both. And that 1% of the fan base that's so pissed off would be happy. Let's talk a little Tennessee football and tie a bow on this thing, man. But first, before we do that, I need to ask you guys, if you haven't hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs up. Helps the channel. I would appreciate it. Shout out to all you dropping those door fees. Shout out to all you becoming members of the channel or gifting those Talkin VAWLS membership. For the fans, by the fans, also fan funded. We don't survive without your support, so we appreciate those donations. Another way you can show support, go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS, because somebody said they wanted to decorate their Christmas tree, and they told me that nothing says Merry Christmas like a Buck Fama Christmas tree ornament. So you guys demanded it. You guys told me that we had to do this. We did it. We've not sold one yet. Why would you lie to me? Why would you lie to me? You told me you wanted one. We created one, and we've not even sold one. So go to bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Get that Buck Fama Christmas tree ornament. Get a TM-themed Christmas tree ornament. We got 30-ounce tumblers for your whiskey or your Coke Zero, whatever you're drinking. We also got a 15-ounce coffee mug. Those little ones sucked. We got rid of those. We got the 15-ounce coffee mug. I think Miss J wants a 9x7 hemp blend pouch. That's what I heard. She wants one, Coach, in her Christmas stocking. So get in where you fit in. We also have the hats, the merchandise, the T-shirts, everything we always got. Bonfire.com/store/Talkin VAWLS. Go check it out. Get in where you fit in. We also got a Patreon. You guys can support. That link is in the description below. You can come join us for a game day chat. We also got chat rooms set up for the basketball games throughout the course of the week, baseball games throughout the course of the week. You can also come play EA Sports College Football with me, Coach Foul Mink, Dauber, the X Factor. Always a good time, but we appreciate the love. Let's talk about what was going to be the main event for this show, and that is how are we going to finish this thing off, man? There's a huge difference in the way I would feel if you go lose to Florida and you lose to Vanderbilt and you finish this thing off 7-5 versus how I would feel if you go take care of business, you finish this thing off 9-3, and you go win a bowl game and get to 10 wins. And I get it. We live in a day and age of college football playoff or you suck. That's kind of the way college football is now. But for me, I still take pride in finishing this thing off, going and getting a 10-win season. Coach, where do you lean? Are you more, because it really seems, and I know it's just a vocal minority on both sides. It seems like there's two camps. We're either going 7-5 or we're going 9-3. So I'm not letting you guys pick. And that 9-win camp thinks you're insane if you believe that Vanderbilt and Florida are better football teams than Tennessee. And maybe I think it's kind of comical that Florida got boat raced by Kentucky but I'm still reading comment after comment after comment after comment that there's no chance for Tennessee to beat Florida. Kentucky can beat them 38-7, but Tennessee can't beat Florida. On the flip side, you got the 7-win camp, and you're a sunshine pumper, and you don't know ball. This team sucks. You're delusional if you think that we can go win in the Swamp for the first time since 2003. So, Coach, I need you to stop being so neutral. I need you to stop being so calm, cool, and collected, and get a little passion in your voice and ride with 7-5 or ride with 9-3.
I'm riding with 9-3, man. It's an easy answer for me. I think Florida is going down in a heap of flames. And hey, look, it doesn't mean you can't lose that game. It's a Southeastern Conference game on the road. Florida's been impossible for Tennessee to beat. So go beat them. Like, you know how pissed I'm going to be if we freaking lose to Florida this year? There's a lot in my eyes for us to play for. Like a huge amount for us to play for. I know we're not going to the playoff, but man, I want to beat their ass in the Swamp. I don't care if they're down. Then beat them 60-2. You know what I mean? Or 3. Like, let's go out there and embarrass them and step on their throat and then listen for all their excuses about how they fired their coach and yada, 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 yada. Right? So step on them and then go ruin Vanderbilt's fun time. Right? What could be better than kicking them in the shins when they're dancing around in the middle of the floor? Right? We got Diego Pavia throwing cash around with Theo Vaughn. Let's steal that money, kick them in the nuts, and run off into the distance and go win us a bowl game. Let's go 10-3. Let's look at this season and go, hey, you know what? We came up short. We got the Florida monkey off our back. We beat our little brother up. And, you know, if you look back on it with all the injuries that we had, with all the adversity we faced, with Nico leaving early, we found a way to have a 10-win season. And if those are our bad years, if the Milton year is our bad year, if this year is a bad year and we can go 10-3, then I think this football program's in the right place. And as Kaner put, I think they're in the hunt every year, which is what you're looking for.
That was a great question. Great question he brought up on that show. If you missed it, go check it out. Isn't it funny though? Like all three of us, I think we were all in didn't we all three say 9-3?
I think so.
Yes. I think that's what we all predicted. And that was before we knew that you were going to lose Ricky Gibson for the year. That was before we knew that you were going to lose. I mean, I'm just going to say Boo Carter. You lost Boo Carter for the year. It is what it is. He didn't start a single game, and when he was on the field, he didn't care. He was checked out the entire year. So, like, we didn't even know that was going to happen, and yet still 9-3 is not good enough. And I get it. When I say that, it pisses people off because it doesn't mean that, oh, that's all I want. I just want to win 9 games. That's it. That's not what I'm saying. But I can also sit back and look at it realistically and say, okay, I can see why. I can see why we ended up here.
Well, I mean, being 9-3 and being blown out those 3 is different than 9-3 and being in those games like that. I mean, I know that's seems gray, but it's really not like that.
It makes him hurt even more. Like,
it makes it hurt worse. It gets everybody riled up, makes everybody more irate, but it also means it's also a positive thing for your culture, your fan base, your program. That you, end of the day, you just gotta pull one of those out, man. Like that's the problem. You can't just go over with it. It's the ranked opponents, and then you don't show up. Like, did you show up for the Georgia game? Yeah, you did. You got beat. We missed a kick. But did you show up for the Alabama game? I feel like you did. You just made too many mistakes. Did you show up for Oklahoma? No, you didn't. So, like, the trend looks bad there.
But did you not like that? Let me just keep
defensively. I should correct myself. Defensively, we showed up.
Even offensively, we were cooking. We were cooking until the sack fumble. We were cooking right down the field, back-to-back opening drives, 2 drives right down the field. And then the life was sucked out of us by that scoop and score.
Yeah, I mean, man, but even then, though, it's like the whole time it's like, okay, well, that's just that much more we got to overcome. Like, it never felt out of reach until, like, 7 to go. Like, it really felt like 7 minutes to go, you're, like, starting to crunch numbers, and you're like, where are we going to get this one? But we're getting off track. 9-3, 8. So I'll just give you the 8-4 answer, right?
Nope, that's illegal. No, that's what Dylan tried. I said that's not allowed because that's the easy way out, right? That's the easy way out. You got to go all in or all out.
Okay, so like I think it hinges on the Vandy game, and everybody's going to crucify me over this, but like, give me an answer that tells me why Florida beats us, and don't say the word swamp.
They can't. That's been my selling point all week long. Put the shoe on the other foot. We're Florida, and Florida's us, and we get boat raced by Kentucky. Oh, well, Florida's not beat us in Neyland Stadium since 2003. If that was it, if that was all we had to hold on to, nobody in this fan base would be saying Florida's going to come here and beat us. Nobody.
You're on an interim coach. Your quarterback just got benched last week. The fan base is over it. Everybody's on to the next coach. We probably got more Florida fans watching, well, this week, of course, but watching Ole Miss games than you do Florida games right now. I don't. That being said, you better get it done. Like if you're Tennessee, you better get it done, because we're not going to play them for a little bit, right? That's not one of our yearly SEC opponents now. Now I don't know. You know, you're gonna have more SEC opponents, so I don't know how the schedule's going to play out. But I know that's not one of our yearly guaranteed games. So like, go out on a high note. Go put a stamp on it. Like, yeah, all this happened. We went back and forth. But this is your last opportunity to win the swamp for a minute, possibly. So go out, put a stamp on it. Be done with this. Get it off. It's not. I mean, yes, get the monkey off your back, but like, get the world off your back here. Get the fan base off your back. Get Florida's fan base off your back. Get everybody in the SEC off your back, and stop talking about it.
Do you think it means more to us than it does them? Because when I read that, when people are like, we've not won in the swamp since 2003, I'm like, yeah. The
team wasn't even here then. You know what I mean?
Right. And neither were the coaches. It doesn't matter what Derek Dooley did in the swamp and Lane Kiffin and Butch Jones, and none of that matters for this fan base or for this football program. They do not care what these previous guys did down there. It doesn't matter. All they care about is what they've done.
Isn't that crazy? If you come in as a coach and take over a program, you take on everybody else's weight too. Everybody else's crap that came with it. Like, it's not just what you do from there. It's like, well, what did they do? I got to make up for what they did.
I guarantee you that Josh Hypel and these players on this team probably have no idea until the media starts talking about it, right? Like, if you ask them before the season, they probably have no idea that it's been since 2003.
Right.
They have no clue. Like, they got more important things to worry about than whether or not Derek Dooley won in the swamp. I could tell you he didn't, because he sucked, right? That's why I preach so much about supporting Josh Hypel, because I lived through that misery and I don't want to go back to it.
It's like, you know, or who's more irked by it? Probably us. But do you think Josh Heupel's not tired of hearing it? You think he's not tired of hearing this? Like, there's not a single, like, I mean, after these like ranked opponents thing this year, and it's like, are you ever going to get over the hump? And it's like, you can't beat Georgia and you can't beat Florida. So, I mean, yes, it's on us as fans, but like, do you think he's not tired of hearing that stuff? I mean, you know his personality. You've seen him in these press conferences. And nobody wants to win more than he does. I don't care if we're throwing pennies at the wall. He wants to win. So like, I don't think it's that thing. Now the players, I don't know if it's embedded in the culture enough for them to care about Florida more than somebody else. I'm not saying they don't care about the game. That's not what I'm saying. But do you think they care more about beating Florida than beating Bama or beating Georgia or beating Oklahoma? I don't know. It doesn't matter really, because at the end of the day, you're going against an SEC opponent in their house when they're down. They've been kicking you for the last however many years. You've got a chance to absolutely just put a boot on their throat and end this whole thing that we've sat here and droned on about for the last 10 minutes. You can put all that to bed. And if you don't get fired up for that, if you can't wake up and be like, I'm going to go down there in your house and show you how we play ball and put all this to bed, if you can't get up for that, why are you suiting up? Like, at the end of the day, I mean, these are football players, man. This isn't just Joe average dude off the street. Like, you care about 40. No, these are football players suit up to go and whip somebody on the other side of the field. And if you can't get any juice in your body, you can't get any adrenaline pumping, and you got Coach Hypel who will fight you till the end to win anything. If you can't follow that man and get excited and get fired up to play this thing, why are you here? So I don't think that's going to be a problem. Now when we move on to Vandy, now we're talking about talent versus talent, and I know it's weird to say, but that's going to be a tougher game, I think. Which one of you? I'll end it with this. Which one are you guys more confident with, the Vandy game or the Florida game? Which one do you have more confidence in?
Neutral. I mean, it's tough because
the way it stands, not neutral.
The way it stands, Florida either way. It's not even a conversation if it's a neutral side or Florida's playing in Neyland Stadium. And that's not because of Florida. That's not because of the swamp. It's just because playing on the road's tough, period. But I still feel more confident in going down to the swamp. Like you talk about the interim coach. If you catch them right after they fire Billy Napier, I would be way more concerned after watching them go lay an egg against Kentucky. I'm like, okay, they don't give a crap. They are completely done. I bet a lot of those guys are already thinking where they're going to end up next, where they're going to jump in the portal, probably already having conversations. I think Tennessee goes down there and gets it done because I think you nailed everything you just said. I think you nailed it. I think we as fans build up these big Ivan Drago type characters. It's like, oh, the Florida Gators, the Georgia Bulldogs, Alabama. Man, a buddy of mine from high school that's cleaning up this stuff outside the house with the flood and all the damage and all that crap. He was out here and he brought his son to the job site, and he's like, "Oh, Dad, you didn't tell me he was a big YouTuber." And I'm like, "So I'm selling." I'm like, "Yeah, man, I'm famous. You didn't know this?" And he's like, "Whoa!" And then he starts talking crap because they're Alabama fans. And he's like, "Oh, we own you. We own you." I said, "Yeah, let's talk about Josh Hypel. Let's talk about Josh Hypel in Alabama." And that was before the game, whatever. And it's like, and his dad's telling him, "You realize that Josh Hypel has beat us in Neyland Stadium." And I go, "Who was the head coach before Nick Saban took over?" Because they all know Saban, right? And then now they know DeBoer, but Saban's the one that sold them. He has no clue. And it's like we've created these monsters in Alabama and Josh Hypel. It's like we completely forget that Josh Hypel is beating the Gators. He's beating Alabama. Georgia's the last one to get off his back. And like you said, let's get this freaking this Florida Gators road game. Let's get that monkey off our back, and then we can stop talking about it. And that's what Josh Hypel is doing every single year, is getting another monkey off his back. Let me catch up with the chat. Marcus gifted 5 Talkin VAWLS membership. Shout out, Marcus. We appreciate you. We're 28 away. 28. I don't think we're going to get there. We're getting on the back half of this thing, but 28 memberships away. Shout out, Marcus. We appreciate you. Dakota for 2 says late. Better late than never, and I appreciate the super chat. Dakota. Billy Todd for 2 says, Dorothy, been a minute since I made a live stream. Well, shout out, Billy. We appreciate the $2. Dakota also been a member for 43 months. We can't talk about Florida. We have to focus on New Mexico. Lol. Do you have time to do the gambling segment, Coach? I know you're.
I can do it real quick.
Yeah, I can do your gambling on X if you want.
Now we'll run through them real quick.
I can do it real quick and then bounce.
Yeah, I won't even scroll or anything. Let's talk about last week.
Yeah, I got a little family issue going on.
Just do all 3 coaches' picks and then.
Yeah.
Well, last week, Coach went 0-3. Sorry, Coach.
USC. Before, you mean?
Yeah, week before. He had USC -5, Tennessee -2.5, Kansas State +7.5. He went 0-3. Foul went 2-1. Picked 2 dogs that both won straight up. Mississippi State beat Arkansas. Arizona State beat Iowa State. He missed. Almost went 3-0. Vanderbilt +2.5. They lost by 3.
I thought I went 3 for 3. I really did.
No, it was 2.5. So Coach is 12-12-1. Foul Ming is 15-9. What are your picks for this week, Coach?
Give me Ole Miss -12 against Florida. I think Florida just continues to slide, man. I really do. I think a lot of them quit on their team last week, and I think they'll continue to slide. I think Ole Miss will pick them apart. Give me Ole Miss -12. Sorry, Boogie. I'll take Jimmy Madison -21 over Appalachian State. I think Jimmy just takes them apart. Just a tough year for Appy State. And
did I sway you on that one when I told you they wanted to? App State already wants to fire their first.
Yeah, you helped. You helped. And then for my dog, give me Pitt +12 against Notre Dame. Early morning game.
Game day.
Yeah, give me Pitt.
Give me just go ahead and give me your Tennessee score prediction while we're at it.
Oh yeah, I mean I think they cover too. They were on my list here. Give me Tennessee 65-10.
You just prices righted me. I went 66-10. 66-10. All right, Foul. You go ahead and bounce, Coach. We'll wrap it up, man. Hope everything goes all right.
Appreciate you guys. Go Big Orange.
All right, Foul. What do you got?
Well, we can knock one out real quick out the gate because I also took Ole Miss so you can check that one off. It's the same deal. It's interim coach. You just benched your coach, or you just benched your quarterback. You're at the Grove. Kiffin's trying to prove a point to get all this money for whether he takes a coaching job or just gets a raise. It's a revenge game because if I'm not mistaken, I think Florida is the team that knocked them out of the playoffs last year. So for all those reasons, Ole Miss. And I coach found it at -12, so I'll say -12. Then I got Mississippi State at Missouri. I'm taking Mississippi State. I'm taking Mississippi State plus 6.5. The game being at Mizzou kind of gives me pause, but with the starting quarterback most likely out, Bo Perbula's probably not going to play. I'm not sure if Mizzou can score. We all know Mississippi State and Jeff Lebby's going to have some wrinkles on offense and probably be able to score a little bit there. So give me Mississippi State plus 6.5. And then I don't know which one. I didn't listen close enough to hear coach's spreads there, but I don't know which one his dog was. But my dog of the week is South Carolina at Texas A&M. I got no doubt Texas A&M is going to win here. Marcel Reed continues to impress. And they're the number. I mean, Texas A&M is the number one team in the SEC for a reason. They played well. They're going to continue to play well. It's at home, but to me, 19.5 points for an SEC opponent is just too much. That's just too much. I mean, South Carolina's looked awful. I get that, but it's still an SEC team. They got talent on the field. You might have a situation where Beamer's trying to coach for his job. So give me South Carolina plus 19.5 as my underdog. Just too many points.
Plus 19.5. Coach's dog was Pitt plus 12.
Okay,
that's what he had. So
we'll see.
Right,
what happens.
Let's talk. We're not going to talk too much. Just give me your prediction for New Mexico State, and what do you want to see? Like the conversation all week. Oh, I want to see the young guys. Is there anybody specific you want to see? I know you were in the chat. I guess it was Wednesday night, and I agree with what you said. Josh Heupel's going to trot Jake Merklinger out there after the game's in hand. That's just what he's going to do. I just think it's crazy. I think Josh Heupel knows. I think they've already had the conversation. I think he knows Jake is leaving. I think that's the type of relationship he has. I think he would encourage Jake to leave. I think he would encourage Jake to go find a place that he can play. I think he is truly a player's coach in that way. But once we have that conversation, I'm going to tell you man to man, because you're leaving, I have to roll with George. You've already put your film on tape. It's already out there. Best of luck. I got to roll with George. But what are the young guys you want to see? And then you can give us your score prediction.
Yeah, I mean, that's a logical way to look at it. But I think they knew preseason that, he was gone. I think they knew if he didn't win out this job against Joey, that was probably it, because this would have been his only year, right? I mean, it's just where we're at. Unless he won it and looked great, then you might argue. But I don't necessarily have somebody I want to see. I mean, I'd like to see some of these young receivers get a go, but I think they're banged up. So
Travis Smith won't play. Rodarius
Right.
Jackson, he's good to go. He played in the Oklahoma game.
Okay, well, I like to see Rad get some more touches, but I just want to see the young guys get more reps. I don't mean that to sound as cliche as it sounds. I'm talking about these guys who have played, that have been in the game, have played, get more of a go, give them a full half, not just rotate in on third down or rotate in on second down. Other than just from a sheer point of having to rotate for wear and tear, kind of in video games term, wear and tear. But I just want to see them get more reps as a unit. Let's see these guys build some chemistry together. Let's see these guys on the field all together and see what these classes of the future are going to kind of look like.
I like what Kaner, like to piggyback on what you're saying there. Me and Kaner had this conversation on Locked On Vols from this morning, and Dwan Morris was the guy that got brought up. And Kaner said, I want to see him with the ones, like give him some carries while the starters, you're going to beat the brakes off of New Mexico State, period.
Mhm.
No ifs, ands, or buts. So if you give Peyton Lewis a series and Star Thomas a series and Deshaun Bishop a series, give freaking Dwan Morris a series while the ones are still in there. I said the same thing with Isaiah Campbell and Ethan Utley. Like, they're going to play, get them some run while the game is still on the line, while just rotate them in.
Meaningful reps.
Yes. Yeah, and how meaningful is a rep against New Mexico State versus a Georgia rep or an Oklahoma rep? It's not the same,
At 18
but it's
or 19
still
years old,
live
it might be.
fire. Yeah, in Neyland Stadium, right? And I get it. These guys have played all year, but I want to see them get some meaningful run.
And how much momentum does that carry into the offseason? Does that keep some guys around? Do you have some guys that you're like, I don't know, they may try to lean away, they may look other places? Does getting them in there in the environment while Neyland's still hot and fired up, like, does that help? It can't hurt. And build some chemistry to where these guys, like, they kind of know, hey, we got something here. We got something to look forward to in the next season. I want to be here for this. Like, I know that's a different way to look at it, and that's probably not what we're talking about it right now. But like all those things, I want to carry momentum. And do you care more about preserving your starters for these last two games and a bowl game, or are you more worried, like, do you want to get those stats in there to where Hypel can keep saying, well, we've rushed for 2,500 yards every year? Or do we want to get Bishop to 1,000 yards? Or, like, does that matter? I don't know. But I'm sure it matters to the player. But which one's more important? And Hypel tends to kind of look out for his players in that sense. Like, that's why Jake's going to come out, because he feels obligated to it. Mm-hmm. That's what I mean. And this bleeds over into coaching, and we're not going to get into that. But, like, that bleeds over to why some guys hang around in some spots where it's not that they're bad, but maybe we could do better. And it's Hypel is just a loyal guy, man. And it's almost goes back to the Milton thing, like all these days where he's just loyal to his guys, man. And that's I don't know. I think every one of us are going to be frustrated on Saturday when these starters are still going in the third.
You think so?
If we're up, I'm not saying it'll be the third for sure, but it'll be later than you want it to be. I can promise you it'll be later than you want.
He's notorious,
we'll be up
man.
40 points or 30 points, and you'll still see starters out there.
He is notorious for running the starters out to start the third quarter, no matter what. And I don't know if that is I've had this conversation before, but is that all right, we're going to put in our adjustments, and I want to see how you process those adjustments. I want you to go through that live fire of implementing those adjustments for at least one series, and then we're going to get you out. I don't know what it is, but guaranteed he's going to do it on Saturday.
Oh, for sure. I think it's one of those, you don't want the other team to come out and breathe some life into them. Let them catch any kind of momentum coming out of the half. It's like, nope, put the fire out. Now you guys can go in and play around. But the problem with that, especially this year, is that we've let teams drive the field on us. Regardless if they just come up with a field goal or less, or we come up with a turnover on the 10, whatever it is, you've eat up all this clock. So then we turn around and it's like these young guys got 2 drives. Or 3 drives, because once you get some of these younger guys in there, it's more likely to happen, right? Especially on defense. And then offensively, are you clicking and going as fast and all that stuff as you would be if you had your starters in there? No. So everything slows down. You're going to get less drives. So I'm with you, man. Put them in there early. Put them in there when it still matters. Are you that? If I told you we're going to win 65-45, but the young guys played, but the young guys played 95% of the game.
I can't get over that. 45, I can't get over that. New Mexico State, 45.
Like, so what's that number? Yeah, I know. So what's that number where you're like, how many points are you willing to give up to give these young guys reps is kind of where I'm going with it.
Would they give up to ETSU? 24, and a lot of people were pissed.
Right,
a lot of people were pissed.
Exactly. So it's like, what do you want? Do you want to leave the starters in and win 103?
Me, I don't care. I don't care about ETSU. I don't put any stock into it. A lot of people want perfection. They don't want to give up a first down. They don't want to give up a point. They don't want to give up a field goal. They want to score every time we touch the ball. That's what some people want. And if that doesn't happen, they're going to be mad. That's just the reality of it.
So I think you got to block all that out and as a coach and be like, look, I've got to prepare my program for the best possible situation. And that is to get those young guys in there, regardless of what anybody else says, what anybody else thinks. And if you do want to get to GMAC, you better put Jake in real early, because and that's where we're at. I mean, because he knows if we're talking about it, he knows it. He knows he needs to get GMAC in there. He knows he needs to get him reps. He knows who's his quarterback's going to be next year or high likelihood. So what's his only choice to get there and still take care of his people? you got to get up early and get Jake in there, get him 4 or 5s. He's going to give him several runs, man. He's going to give him a couple drives. So, you better do it early because, G-Mac needs runs, and it's going to be in the 4th. It is what it is with the 3.
Give us your score prediction. We'll get out the door.
I'm at Tennessee 63-13.
Everybody's right around that 60-10, 60-9, 60.
We're averaging 50, I think. So
yeah, they're going to jump all over New Mexico State. They're going to do it quick. They're going to be on top of them before you even blink.
There is a weird. I know we're at the end here. There's a weird stat, man. I think it's New Mexico State's top 5 receivers all average over 12 yards a catch, and 8 out of 10 of their top receivers average 10 yards or more. And the quarterback's thrown for over 2,000 yards, but his QBR is 35.8. So there's going to be a lot of chance for turnovers and stuff here, but these guys are going to try to stretch it, and we're slim. So I'm curious to see. It's not going to make it a game, but I'm just curious to see how this thin secondary handles stretch play after stretch play after stretch play, because I really think they're going to push it down the field or attempt to push it down the field. Will they have time? Probably not. This defensive line will eat them up. But I just thought that was a really weird stat that 8 out of 10 dudes are averaging over 10 yards a catch.
Yeah, their quarterback's thrown 11 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. He's also been sacked 27 times, and they're playing teams like the Bryant University Bulldogs. They're playing teams like Sam Houston. They're playing teams like Missouri State, Kennesaw State, and losing to those teams. This is a really bad football team. It'll be lopsided. It'll be a blowout. And then hopefully, man, I hope this fan base gets behind this football team. I get it. The college football playoff is off the table. But I hope we show a little pride, get behind this football team to go beat Florida in the Swamp, to go beat Vanderbilt. Man, let's ruin their chance.
Get some momentum going, man.
It has been a huge season for Vanderbilt football. They're talking about a Heisman Trophy. They're talking about a college football playoff. What better way to, when we slip up and fall short of our goal, to ruin Vanderbilt's opportunity, ruin Vanderbilt's goal of a shot at the college football playoff. And I think this fan base will. I think it speaks volumes that we sold out Neyland Stadium for that Vanderbilt game. I think that kind of tells you all you need to know. Do us a favor, smash a thumbs up on the way out the door. Go check out the merchandise. Go check out the Patreon. Go get yourself a Christmas tree ornament. You don't want to piss your wife off with a Buck Fama Christmas tree. I was telling Mrs. Boogie about it, and she said, there is no way you're putting that on our tree. So I'm going to have to buy one and sneak it onto the back of the tree, so she has no idea that it says Buck Fama. So what better way to piss your wife off than grabbing a Buck Fama Christmas tree ornament? Also, the new tumblers, new coffee mugs, all kinds of fun stuff over there. But that's going to do it for this one. For Foul Ming, my name's Boogie Bentley. This is the Talkin VAWLS Network. Go Big Orange.
That we call home, and it's night and I'm alone and I'm alive.